Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're focusing on something that, well, quietly drains energy from organizations.
Hmm.
It's this idea of leakage.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about those conversations, the ones happening everywhere, private chats, maybe the parking lot,
Oh.
except where they actually need to happen. It's about tackling conflict avoidance head on.
Exactly. And we're going to unpack what the sources call the sidebar tax, which sounds kind of formal, but it's really just about that lost energy.
Lost energy.
Yeah, energy that should be driving the mission, but instead it gets sucked into, well, drama, gossip, subtext.
Okay.
So our mission today is really to cut through that noise. We've got a practical 6-step framework for what's called active resolution.
Active resolution, moving from avoidance to growth.
Yes, precisely. Moving from that anxiety and avoidance to direct constructive action.
Okay, but before we jump into the framework itself, we need to talk about the mindset, right? There's a foundational piece here. I was struck by that Rollo May quote. Courage is not a virtue. It is the foundation that underlies and gives reality to all other virtues.
Powerful stuff.
It really sets the stage. This whole deep dive, it's essentially about applying that courage in leadership.
Absolutely. It's the bedrock.
Okay, so let's unpack this, starting with the problem itself. Describe this scenario for us.
Well, picture it. You've got two people on a team. Maybe they have an issue, a disagreement.
Okay.
But instead of talking to each other, they talk about each other.
Ah, the classic.
Right. They're venting to colleagues. Maybe they schedule a quick sync with their boss just to complain.
Or the Slack channel just gets tense.
Yeah.
Lots of subtext.
Exactly that. That whole phenomenon, that drain on everyone's bandwidth and emotional energy, that's the sidebar tax.
It's a hidden cost.
Totally hidden. And the sources are pretty clear. Organizations are often bleeding productivity, and they don't even realize the wound isn't technical. It's relational.
The source material calls avoidance blame's sneaky cousin. I found that interesting. We know blame cultures are toxic. They freeze teams.
Mm-hmm.
But how does avoidance end up being just as damaging, maybe even more so?
Well, blame cultures are often loud, right? You know where the fear is. Avoidance cultures, they're quiet, insidious.
So the problems just fester?
Exactly. Minor issues bubble under the surface. They either explode eventually into some big public crisis, or, and this is critical, your best people just quietly leave. They see the passive aggression, they feel the energy drain, and they think, I don't have time for this. They want constructive engagement, not office politics, so they vote with their feet.
That raises such a key question. Why do smart leaders, people who are otherwise decisive, why do they choose avoidance? It seems counterintuitive.
It does, but it often comes down to what the sources term the default success strategy.
Default success strategy.
Yeah, it's like your brain defaults to the behaviors that made you successful in the past, even if they don't serve you now as a leader.
Okay, give me an example. Like, if I value harmony.
Right. If you have a high need for harmony, your brain literally registers conflict as a threat. So to feel safe, you just avoid the whole messy conversation.
Okay, that makes sense. What about the opposite? The leader who's super results-focused prides themselves on speed and decisiveness.
For them, conflict feels like quicksand.
Quicksand.
Yeah, it's slow, it's emotionally messy, unpredictable. Their default success strategy is all about maintaining momentum, hitting targets.
So the difficult conversation feels like a massive delay.
Exactly. It's perceived as this huge time sink that's going to slow everything down.
Yeah.
So avoidance feels rational. The short-term discomfort of the chat outweighs the sort of fuzzy long-term benefit of resolving it.
So we choose the small, immediate loss of just letting it go to keep things smooth now.
Right.
Without really seeing the compounding damage.
That's the trap. Every single avoided conversation, it's accruing compound interest on organizational dysfunction. That small issue you sidestepped, it's not staying small.
It grows.
It metastasizes. And it becomes a much bigger, way harder problem to fix down the line.
And that quiet growth, the sources say, translates into 4 really specific costs. Let's dig into those, starting with trust erosion.
Yeah, this one's fundamental. Think about it. Your company handbook might say, we value directness, feedback, transparency.
The usual corporate values.
Right. But then everyone sees leaders visibly dodging tough conversations. What does the team learn?
That directness isn't actually safe here. Actions speak louder.
Exactly. It's a breach of that psychological contract. What you do always overrides what you say.
And when trust goes, people hold back, which leads straight to the second cost. decision degradation.
Absolutely. Imagine an engineering team, high-stakes project. Someone in QA finds a vulnerability. Small, maybe, but significant.
Okay.
They know the project lead, maybe they have a short fuse, hates bad news late in the game.
So speaking up feels risky.
Right, because the culture punishes disagreement, or at least feels like it does. So that critical piece of context, it stays hidden. Leaders end up making calls based on incomplete, filtered, overly rosy information.
And that leads to suboptimal decisions or worse.
Or worse. And that reluctance to, rock the boat, it feeds directly into the third cost, innovation stagnation.
How so?
Well, think about what innovation is. It's disruptive by nature.
True. It challenges the status quo.
Exactly. It challenges existing processes, power structures, maybe even successful products. If your culture teaches people that challenging anything is dangerous,
Then the really big ideas never surface.
bingo. You might get small, iterative improvements, sure, but you're not going to get those game-changing breakthroughs. People play it safe.
And the final cost, maybe the most painful for growing companies, talent flight.
We touched on this, but it really needs emphasis. High performers, they have a finely tuned radar for passive-aggressive cultures.
They sense the sidebar tax immediately.
Instantly. They see the time wasted on gossip, on managing conflict indirectly, and they usually don't say culture fit in the exit interview that feels too confrontational itself.
So they just leave.
They quietly find a place where energy goes into the work, not the drama.
Okay, so the antidote to all this is shifting the mindset towards active resolution, addressing issues to resolve and grow, not to win or punish.
That's the core shift. It requires moving away from fear-based thinking.
What does fear ask in this context?
Fear asks, how do I protect myself? How do I avoid this messy, uncomfortable conflict?
And the alternative, this purpose-driven approach, what the sources call love, what does that ask?
It asks, how can I serve this person and how can I serve our shared mission by actually addressing this directly?
That word love, it can sound a bit soft for a business context. What does it mean practically here?
It means commitment. It means you prioritize the mission and you prioritize the other person's success over your own immediate comfort. It's recognizing that the conversation, even though it's uncomfortable, is necessary for growth. It's applying that Rollo May idea of courage. You feel the fear, you feel the discomfort, but your purpose pushes you to act anyway.
Because you value the relationship and the mission more than your own equilibrium.
Exactly.
Okay, that's the crucial mindset shift. Now let's get practical. The framework gives us 6 steps. How do we actually do this? What's step 1?
Step 1 is where many leaders stumble right out of the gate. Get clear on your purpose.
Before you even schedule the meeting.
Absolutely. Before you type a word of an email, you have to nail down your highest intention. Ask yourself, why am I really having this conversation?
And if the answer is to prove I was right, or to vent,
then stop. Reevaluate. The conscious purpose must be constructive. It has to be about serving the mission and helping the other person succeed.
Got it. Purpose first, then what? Step 2.
Step 2, create psychological safety first. You can't just dive into the problem.
Why is this opening so critical?
Because our brains are wired for threat detection. The moment we sense conflict, bang, fight, flight, or freeze kicks in.
So you need to signal safety up front.
Immediately. You have to establish positive intent to create the neurological conditions where the other person can actually hear you and learn rather than just defend themselves.
So no ambushes. Use framing statements.
Precisely. Things like, hey, I'm bringing this up because I really care about your success here. Or, I value our working relationship and I want to make it even stronger by talking through something that's causing some friction.
You're framing it as a partnership.
Yes. This is us solving something together, not me attacking you.
Okay, that sets the stage. Step 3 sounds absolutely crucial for avoiding defensiveness. Focus on impact, not intent.
Critical. We humans love to jump to conclusions about why someone did something. We assume intent.
It's because it feels like we understand, yeah.
Right. But for resolution, you must stick only to the observable impact. What actually happened? What was the result? How did it feel?
Give us that concrete example again, the late to meetings one.
Okay, so instead of, you're always late because you don't respect anyone's time, that's judging intent and character.
Right, instant defensiveness.
Totally. You say, when meetings start late because we're waiting, we often have to backtrack. Or, when that happened last Tuesday, we had to make the decision on Project X without your input and that slowed us down. Stick to the what? The observable consequence.
Focus on the cost to the mission or the team.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've stated the impact objectively. Now, step 4. Invite their perspective.
Yes. And if you've done the first 3 steps well, they should feel less attacked, more open. Now you genuinely try to understand their side.
This is where you shift from judgment to curiosity.
Genuine curiosity is key. Ask things like, what's your take on this? Or help me understand what was going on from your perspective. Or even, what might I be missing here?
And you have to be truly open to hearing their answer.
Absolutely. Your observation about the impact might be incomplete. They might have had constraints you knew nothing about.
Okay, so you understand their perspective. Step 5 moves towards action. Co-create the path forward.
Right. This is where you really cement the partnership. You move away from being the judge delivering a verdict.
Les, you need to do this more.
More. Okay, given what we both understand now about the impact, how can we move forward effectively? How do we make sure this serves the mission and helps you succeed?
You're putting the ball in their court, too, making it collaborative.
It's joint ownership of the solution.
Mate, what if you have this great conversation, co-create a plan, and then nothing changes? How do you avoid it just being performative?
That brings us to the crucial step 6. Follow through and follow up. This cannot be skipped.
This is about accountability.
Supportive accountability. Active resolution isn't just one chat. It needs clear agreements what will change specifically. How will we measure it? When will we check back in?
Schedule the follow-up right then and there.
Ideally, yes. And, just as importantly, celebrate the improvements when they happen. Acknowledge the positive change. If you skip this follow-through, the lesson learned is those conversations don't really mean anything, and avoidance creeps back in.
Which brings us back to the leader's role. Modeling this is everything.
Everything. If a leader dodges a hard conversation, everyone sees it. The message is clear. Directness isn't safe, despite what the values poster says.
But when a leader does address issues constructively, using these steps,
they teach the whole team that disagreement isn't terminal. It's actually how strong teams get stronger. It builds trust, paradoxically.
Now, the sources also point out the internal barriers, right?
Yeah.
The things that stop leaders before they even get to step 1. Those little voices.
Oh, yeah. The whispers of the unconscious mind, that default success strategy trying to keep you comfortable.
What do they sound like?
Things like, oh, if you bring this up, they'll think you're mean, or they'll get defensive, it'll be awkward, or, ugh, this conversation will take forever, just work around the problem for now.
Or the big one, what if I mess it up and make things worse?
That's a huge one. Leaders have to recognize those thoughts for what they are. The brain's attempt to maintain comfort, not its attempt to lead effectively. Conscious purpose has to override unconscious comfort.
And when you do push through, when you apply this framework, the contrast is stark. Let's paint that picture one last time. Without active resolution.
It's the sidebar tax running rampant. Did you hear what Sarah did? Unbelievable. What are we going to do about her? Followed by like 47 Slack messages dissecting it.
All wasted energy.
Completely. But with active resolution.
It becomes.
Sarah, can we grab 15 minutes? I want to talk about what happened in the meeting yesterday. Help me understand your perspective and let's figure out how we move forward together.
Direct, mission-focused, respectful.
Exactly. It shifts the energy immediately from leakage to resolution.
So at the end of the day, what's the core choice here for leaders listening?
It really boils down to this. Are you going to let your unconscious need for comfort dictate your actions? Or are you going to let your conscious purpose, serving your team, achieving the mission, inspire the courage needed? Active resolution takes commitment. It's rarely comfortable, but it's necessary.
Okay, so here's the challenge for you listening right now. Think about one issue, just one, that you've been avoiding. Maybe it's feedback you need to give, a conflict simmering, something. We want you to answer 3 specific questions for yourself. Get honest. 1, what am I actually afraid will happen if I address this directly? List out those fears.
That's specific.
2, what's already happening? What's the real cost? The sidebar tax, because I'm not addressing it. Think about trust, decisions, innovation, talent.
Yeah, what's the hidden cost now?
And 3, what is my highest, most constructive purpose in having this conversation? Why is it important for the mission and the people involved?
Once you have those answers, clarity, then schedule the conversation. Don't just think about it, put it in the calendar this week.
No more kicking the can down the road.
No more. Because that conversation you're avoiding, it might just hold the key. It could honestly be the breakthrough your team or that relationship has been waiting for.